and I know it's gonna be.
This first Dashcam video was captured in Australia. Two men in a Mercedes are driving down the highway when, through their weird dashcam, a car is seen quickly approaching. It then swerves around the two guys before getting in front of them and slamming on the brakes, clearly trying to run them off the road. But what first could be written off as road rage soon takes a more serious and disturbing turn. The two men notice the driver has an axe and is now waving it out his window and threatening them. The sudden and unexpected encounter forces the two men to take a quick U-turn to lose the guy. But he continues to follow them. The situation is then taken even further when the two use the next exit and approach a roundabout. 2 times, the Mercedes is rear-ended, the second of which causes the attacker to spin out, sending him off the road. This allowed the two guys to get away. They would then drive to the nearest police station where they would report what had just happened. When police arrived to the scene of the crash, the car was gone. However, a few hours later, they would find the vehicle on the road, and from there the driver was arrested. Later, the owner of the dashcam footage would give the video more context. Apparently, the driver chasing them for whatever reason was 100% convinced they had robbed his house the night before. But obviously this wasn't the case. The two guys had never before even seen the man. It was determined that he was under the influence of something. He would be charged with multiple offenses, which put him in prison for 2 years. In August of 2018, Justin Bilton and his 70-year-old father were camping at Glacier National Park in Montana. They had only been in the park for 3 hours when they were informed of an immediate evacuation of the area. A forest fire ignited by lightning the previous night had gotten too far out of control. However, by the time they got the evacuation notice unknown to them, the only road out of the park had already been engulfed by the fire. A fallen tree is seen directly in the middle of the road, trapping them inside the park. They had nowhere to go but back, so they ended up reversing through everything they had just gone through. When they reached their campsite, they abandoned their car and desperately started running towards a nearby lake. By some miracle there, they would find 2 park employees in a boat on the shore of the lake. Justin and his father were rescued and taken to safety, leaving everything but this horrifying footage behind. This dashcam footage shows the armed robbery of a cab driver. The driver, Ralph Roletta, had just started his shift. This was his first ride of the day. He was stopped in a light, and the rider can be seen in the back slouched down. But abruptly, he sits up and demands Ralph give him everything he has. Unbeknownst to the rider, a police cruiser was stopped at the same light directly behind them. At some point during the robbery, the light to the lane they were in had turned green, and seeing that they weren't moving, the officer put on his lights and got out to investigate.
I don't have anything in my wallet. I don't
You
carry
need
it.
your wallet and your phone. I need your wallet and...
No, please don't give me my phone. I need that for my... There's a cop behind us. There's a cop behind us. Lifesaver! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Almost immediately, the officer would realize that a robbery was taking place, so in response, he would order the rider out of the car, where he would then be detained. The rider was arrested and later charged with multiple offenses. In April of 2021, a man named Mitch Kahn was driving on the highway back from work when he saw this. A child that looks to be wearing a large jacket, or that's possibly wrapped in a blanket, begins walking out in the middle of the highway, just barely missing Mitch's truck. Mitch was towing a trailer and felt that if he abruptly stopped, it would cause an accident, so instead he opted to call the police, reporting an unattended child walking on the highway. Police assured Mitch that they'd send out patrol units immediately. An hour later, Mitch called again for a follow-up as well as to offer the footage he caught on his dashcam, but he was told that it wouldn't be necessary as the child had been collected safely and was on his way home. However, strangely, police would later state that no child was found, despite officers searching the area until 3:45 a.m. Additionally, they would claim that at no point did they tell Mitch that they had found the child. The next morning, multiple volunteers commenced a search of the area, but no child was ever found, and therefore the search eventually ended. At the time the footage was captured, there were no reports of a missing child in the area. It remains unknown who exactly was captured in this video. This dashcam footage was captured in the streets of Taiwan. Right away, it's clear the video takes place in the midst of a storm where the winds are strong enough to throw around debris. At one point, debris is even seen flying against the windshield. But little did the drivers know that an actual tornado was forming right behind them and quickly heading in their direction. The dashcam footage captures the exact moment the tornado went directly through them. It was even strong enough to lift vehicles off the ground, which can actually be seen with the white van that pulls out onto the road. The wheels of the vehicle leave the ground, and it begins to get full-on dragged by the tornado, seemingly disappearing. But once the tornado passes, it can be seen much further down the road, wedged in between two trees. More concerning, however, is the person that gets thrown by the tornado on the right side of the road. Unfortunately, this woman would suffer major injuries and would be taken to the hospital. The storm would go on to produce further damage in the form of 50 inches of rain that would cause multiple deadly landslides. As we conclude our journey into the chilling unknown, remember to keep your wits about you and your headlights on. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hair-raising content. Until next time, stay curious and remember, the truth may be stranger than fiction.